Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by for the first quarter 2024 earnings conference call for Xpeng Inc. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. After management's remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Mr. Alex Xu, Head of Investor Relations of the company. Please go ahead, Alex.
Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to Xpeng's first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. Our financial and operating results were issued via Newswire services early today and available online. You can also view the earnings press release by visiting the IR section of our website at ir.xpeng.com. Participants on today's call from our management team will include our co-founder, chairman, and CEO, Mr. He Xiaopeng, Vice Chairman and President, Dr. Brian Gu, Vice President of Corporate Finance and Investments, Mr. Charles Zhang, Vice President of Finance and Accounting, Mr. James Wu, and myself. Management will begin with prepared remarks, and the call will conclude with a Q&A session. A webcast replay of this conference call will be available on the IR section of our website. Before we continue, please note that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding these and other risks and uncertainties is included in the relevant public filings of the company as filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please also note that Xpeng's earnings press release and this conference call include the disclosure of unaudited GAAP financial measures as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Xpeng's earnings press release contains a reconciliation of unaudited non-GAAP measures to the unaudited GAAP measures. I will now turn the call over to our co-founder, chairman, and CEO, Mr. He Xiaopeng. Please go ahead.
大家好，我是小鹏。2024年一季度，小鹏汽车的交付量为21,821台，同比增长20%。在市场竞争非常激烈的情况下，一季度公司的毛利环比是翻倍了，比去年四季度提高了6.7%，整体上升到12.9%。这标志着小鹏从此在实现了智能电动车业务基础上，我们还通过智能化技术的合作和输出来进行了盈利。这是创造了一种全新的独特模式。小鹏汽车创业了10年，坚持在智能电动汽车平台、EA 电子电器架构和智能驾驶等技术在高强度进行研发跟投入，目前来看已经转换为良好的财务的回报。在 AI 即将颠覆并且重构中国甚至全球汽车业务的时代，小鹏也率先实现了在智研智能化技术的输出的赋能，并且产生了可观的经常性的收入跟利润，这对我们的盈利模式会产生一个深远的影响，也会让小鹏更有底气会坚持继续的全球的技术创新，并且引领汽车行业的科技的变革。
Good evening, everyone. In the first quarter of 2024, Xpeng announced the delivery of 21,821 smart EVs, marking a 20% year-over-year increase. Notwithstanding significant market competition, our first quarter gross margin expanded substantially to 12.9%, doubling from the previous quarter with an increase of 6.7 percentage points. This development underscores Xpeng's innovative approach to enhancing profitability and international market potential through the provision of smart technologies based on its smart EV business. This has created a completely new, unique model. Over the past decade since its inception, Xpeng has consistently made robust investment in R&D for smart EV platforms, electronic architecture, and advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS for short. These strategic investments are now yielding positive financial outcomes. as artificial intelligence continues to redefine the auto industry in China and globally. Xpeng has been at the forefront of exporting its in-house developed smart technologies, resulting in significant recurring revenue and profits. This achievement is poised to profoundly impact the company's profitability model, instilling confidence in paving the way for further technical advancements as Xpeng continues to lead the technology transformation within the automotive sector.
那么截止一季度末，我们的在手现金是414亿元，那么大幅度改善了毛利以及充裕的现金，让我们小鹏可以更加关注决策长远的战略选择。所以小鹏的战略将不会像以前一样仅仅着眼于销量增长，我们更追求这个在这么卷的市场里面追求高质量、高效率，全面的提升公司的综合能力，使我们的长板更长且没有短板，把小鹏汽车打造成一个多变性战士，这样才能够在长跑里面获取更大的规模和利润。我非常开心的是，小鹏比绝大部分企业提前更久开始有这样的思考，并且做这样的变革，而且现在变革非常的稳健。那么接下来我们将会坚定的推进整个的变革的调整，并且加快关键人才的引进，继续提升公司的组织能力、战略的执行力。那么通过高度整合的今天的这个小鹏的大 AI 的智能技术平台，我们还有信心在全球范围内更高效的推出将来更强竞争力的车型，引领 AI 自驾汽车的大范围的普及。
At the end of Q1, we had RMB 41.4 billion in cash. With our significantly improved gross margin, this healthy cash position allows us to concentrate more on strategic initiatives for the future. Our strategic transformation is not solely focused on boosting sales volume as the past. We are also dedicated to achieving excellence in quality, efficiency, and overall enhancement of the company's competitiveness. By leveraging our strengths and addressing any weaknesses, our goal is to become well-rounded and pursue larger scale and profits in the long run. I am very delighted to say that we have been able to start this thinking and have this vision much earlier on than our peers. Moving forward, we will vigorously drive this transformation whilst accelerating crucial talent recruitment and improving organizational effectiveness and strategic execution. We have confidence that with our hyper-integrated, comprehensive intelligent technology platform, Xpeng is well positioned to efficiently launch highly competitive models worldwide and lead the widespread adoption of AI-powered smart cars.
那么在今年以来，小鹏汽车逆势反而在招聘，我们在多个领域现在都有顶尖人才加入我们，包括了自动驾驶、品牌营销、造型设计等。那么有部分的我们近期会把大家介绍给大家，我们也会加快营销、客户体验、造型等方面能力提高到行业的最前列的水平，要把好的技术转换成好的客户体验跟好的产品，要用好的营销把技术跟产品的价值更好的传播给我们的客户。所以在补齐短板的基础上，我们在行业领先的 AI 能力和我们的整体的技术开发体系支撑，我们会在全球快速的进行规模化的布局，那么把这个客户导向的产品做得更好，那么我们相信这也是我们取胜的长板优势。
Since the beginning of 2024, Xpeng has been actively recruiting top talents in ADAS R&D, brand marketing, style design, and other key areas. We will soon introduce them to you. Our goal is to rapidly elevate our marketing, customer experience, and design capabilities to industry's most cutting-edge levels. This will enable us to effectively translate our advanced technologies into compelling product experiences and utilize the marketing strategies to better communicate the value of our technology to customers. With our weaknesses properly addressed, our industry-leading AI capabilities, comprehensive R&D framework supporting rapid global scalability, and customer-oriented product design will better serve as the competitive edges that set us apart and drive our success.
那么一季度，我们的大七座旗舰车型 X9 在上市后就成为了纯电 MPV 以及纯电3排座车型的销量冠军。那么我认为 X9 的成功充分说明了产品品类创新、技术创新才是更有效的竞争手段。那么在今后几年内，我们将会继续基于 X9 的良好口碑跟经验，继续丰富我们在高端系列的产品线，为大家庭用户提供搭载更先进智能技术，并且在造型、空间、舒适、豪华感都能够媲美100万豪车的大型车的产品。
During the first quarter, the X9, our large 7-seater flagship model, emerged as a top seller in the pure electric MPV segment, as well as the pure electric 3-row model segment following its market launch. The success of the X9 firmly establishes the product innovations and technological advancements as our most effective competitive edges. Moving forward, we will confidently build on this success to enrich our premium product portfolio. Our aim is to provide family customers with the most advanced smart EV technologies in large vehicles, delivering styling, space, comfort, and opulence akin to luxury cars priced above 1 million RMB.
那么从今年3季度起，我们将会开启在3年内推出多款全新造型的一个强劲的产品周期的开始。那么它会覆盖10到40万这个价格带的主要的细分市场，这其中包含了多个像 X9 一样专注品类创新的新物种产品。我们的所有的产品都会坚持智能驾驶的领先，同时通过多个产品序列在价格区间和设计上去满足不同客群，包括中国甚至全球的差异化的需求。我们的目标是在智能电动汽车时代打造一个像大众汽车一样覆盖全球市场多种产品类型，拥有广阔客群的一个超级品牌，并且让 AI 智驾成为最主要的品类。
In the third quarter of this year, we will embark on an extensive product launch cycle, introducing a number of new models within the next 3 years. These models will cover major price segments ranging from RMB 100,000 to RMB 400,000. Like the X9, our new models will come with disruptive innovations to target new segments. All products will feature cutting-edge ADAS technology, and with the various product series, we will cater to diverse customer needs in pricing and design, both home and abroad. We are committed to establishing a Volkswagen-like super brand in the EV space, with a global market presence and a wide-ranging product portfolio that caters to broad customer groups, ultimately bringing AI-powered vehicles into the mainstream.
那么 Mola 产品系列的首款也是 A 级纯电轿车将会在今年6月份亮相，那么并且在3季度正式上市跟规模交付。我相信这是一款颜值爆表，甚至来说在20万以内的所有的车的颜值肯定是最高且高智能，同时成本具有相当竞争力的产品。我相信 Mola 会成为 A 级纯电市场的超级明星产品。那么在明后年，我们还会在 A 汽车的平台推出多款不同的产品，并且我们也会把小鹏的 XNGP 自动驾驶也会打到这一个价位段的车上去。那么在这个销售规模最大的价位段去来普及高等级智能辅助驾驶。
Our new A-Class electric sedan, the first model of our Mona series products, will debut in June and officially launch and commence mass delivery in the third quarter of this year. This groundbreaking product boasts exquisite styling, advanced intelligence, and highly competitive cost structure, making it a potential favorite among younger consumer groups within the RMB 200,000 price range. We are confident that it will set the standard in the A-Class BEV market. Over the next 2 years, we will introduce several additional products based on the A-class platform. In addition, we are determined to target the RMB 100,000 to RMB 200,000 price segment, where the highest sales volume is with our high-level ADAS.
那么在今年的四季度，我们还将交付一款小鹏汽车品牌的全新的 B 级纯电轿车车型。那么这款新车是基于我们最新的这个技术规模降本的首发车型。我们期待它将成为下半年 B 级纯电市场的一款爆款。这款 B 级新车加上 Mola 车型的贡献的增量，那我们很有信心在今年的四季度会实现月交付量同比有大幅度增长。
In the upcoming fourth quarter, we will be launching a new Xpeng branded B-class battery electric sedan. We have successfully achieved a 25% cost reduction through technological advancements for the first time with this model. We expect it to become a best-selling B-class BEV model in the second half of this year. With the incremental volume from this new B-class model and Mola, we are confident of substantial year-over-year growth in monthly delivery volume in the fourth quarter.
那么从5月20号的 AI Day 开始，我们将融合了大模型的 AI 天机系统，包括了智能座舱跟智能驾驶的能力，已经全量推送给我们的主力车型。那么这在中国汽车的行业是率先实现了第一个无高精地图，第二个端到端自动驾驶大模型的量产。那么这个在技术架构上领先了现在的有上1到2代。那么如果完全不使用高精地图，可以让小鹏在今年3季度，我们的 XNGP 不仅实现以前大家所期望的全国城市都能开，而且我们期望是达到每条路都能开，而且这在将来可以让小鹏的自动辅助驾驶更有效率的向全球进行推广。而端到端的大模型的上市意味着什么？意味着自动驾驶能力之后在每个季度都可能拥有以前倍数级别的提高，将程序员人为编写的规则方式修订为用模型来进行训练跟推理使用。那么接下来小鹏汽车的软件跟 AI 升级会从原来的平台构建进入到快速升级的这个超快周期，以后会按月进化，那么 XNGP 的价值会快速的提升。那么我们的计划是在2025年让城市自驾的体验追平当前最高等级的高速上的体验。那么也就是说，可以在一个城市里面实现数百公里才需要接管一次的水准。
On AI Day, May the 20th, we began the full-scale rollout of our AI-powered in-car operating system, XOS 5.1 or AI Tianji OS. This cutting-edge large model built system seamlessly integrates AI technology into smart cockpits and ADAS. XOS 5.1 is available to all owners of our major models, solidifying Xpeng's position at the forefront of non-HD map and end-to-end AI model applications in China and in China's auto industry, which means our technology architecture is 1 or 2 generations ahead of our competitors, without using any of these HD maps, and which also means that by third quarter of this year, XNGP not only would be able to roll it out in all the national roads, and we would be able to drive on all the roads around China and from end to end to have this in all the cars, which means that going forward in terms of autonomous driving capabilities, in each quarter we would be able to see exponential times of improvement, and this would mean that in terms of the old way of human-made method of rules and the coding method, this will be revised into the training of models and based on the algorithms. We aim to have XNGP accessible on all the roads nationwide by third of the quarter, as I have said, and our end-to-end AI model will enable us to rapidly advance our software and AI technology on a monthly basis. And we predict that by the end of 2025, we will be able to elevate the city road ADAS experience to match of that of the current highway NGP, which means only one manual takeover per hundreds of kilometers of driving.
那么在我们智能驾驶的技术架构升级到端到端大模型开始驱动之后，我们看到数据的壁垒跟数据的价值将会放大。通过海量的高质量的数据训练，那么在复杂的交通场景中间 ，XNGP 将会丝滑的实现理能，甚至超越大部分平均人类司机的表现。那么从今年4季度我们的开始交付的新车开始，我们更多的用户将会享受到小鹏最高等级 Max 等级的这个 XNGP 的服务，那么这会极大的加速高等级自驾的普及，并且快速扩大我们的 XNGP 车队的规模，用海量的数据来反哺现在正在不断成长的 AI 大模型的快速迭代。我相信大模型技术将会为我们的车主在未来的10几个月内带来前所未有的智能体验，并且配备高等级甚至更高等级智能辅助驾驶的智能电动汽车，在未来的渗透率会大幅度提高。
Our XNGP is expected to achieve driving capabilities that are equal to or surpass those of human drivers in complex scenarios. This will soon be possible as our ADAS technology architecture is powered by advanced end-to-end AI model with extensive training using massive amounts of high-quality data, underscoring our competitive edge in data. With our B-Class sedan model commencing deliveries in the second half of this year, broader customer base will soon have access to AI-powered ADAS features. The widespread adoption of a high-level ADAS will accelerate and rapidly scale up our XNGP fleet, which in turn will generate tremendous amounts of data to expedite AI model training and iterations. Large AI models will bring our owners an unprecedented AI-powered driving experience, boosting the penetration of smart EVs equipped with high-level ADAS features.
在海外市场，我们今年会加快扩张，那么出口将成为我们销量跟利润增长的一个重要的驱动力。我们计划将小鹏汽车的海外销售网络从原先的北欧国家扩展到超过20个国家。在上半年，我们已经与西欧、东南亚、中东、澳大利亚等多地的头部经销商集团建立了合作关系，并且会陆续开出新的销售门店。在4月初，这个小鹏的近1000台G9发运欧洲，出口总值就超过了5亿元。那么在5月份 G6 的左舵版本已经开始在欧洲市场发布价格和接受预定。我们预计在3季度会推出 G6 的右舵版本。此外，当前高速 NGP 在海外的测试进展也非常的顺利。那么我很欣喜的看到海外的经销商跟消费者对我们的产品技术的优势，特别包括了智能化、超快充等技术评价是非常的积极的。小鹏汽车为海外市场提供了更好的产品体验、更环保的智能纯电车型，那么树立中高端的科技品牌定位。
Regarding the international market, this year we will expedite our expansion into drive sales and profit growth. We plan to expand our overseas sales network from Nordic countries to over 20 countries worldwide. In the first half of 2024, we established partnerships with the leading auto dealership groups in Western Europe, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Australia. New sales stores have gradually opened under these partnerships. In early April, we shipped nearly 1,000 G9s worth over 500 million to Europe. In May, we announced the selling price and started accepting pre-orders for the G6 model with a left-hand drive in Europe. We plan to introduce the right-hand drive G6 in the third quarter. Highway NGP tests in the overseas markets are progressing well too. Our product strengths, such as ultra-fast charging and smart technologies, are highly valued by overseas dealers and consumers. Xpeng is confidently positioned as a mid to high-end tech-savvy brand in international markets, offering superior product experiences and eco-friendly smart EV models.
那么我们与大众汽车集团的长期战略合作伙伴关系在不断的深化，并且合作的规模也在迅速扩大。在4月17号，我们很高兴宣布，小鹏汽车与大众集团在不到1年的时间里面达成了第3项战略合作。那么小鹏和大众将为大众汽车在中国市场的电动车平台联合开发行业最领先的电气架构。那么这个平台将集成小鹏汽车当前最新一代基于中央计算跟预控制器的电气架构技术，从2026年起全面应用在中国生产的大众汽车品牌的电动车型。那么我们期待与大众的伙伴一起，在全球汽车行业里面面向 AI 自驾时代的转型浪潮中间，找到更多合作共赢的机遇，创造更大的战略的协同价值。那么从今年1季度开始，平台和软件的技术服务收入已经开始成为我们收入的重要来源，这标志着小鹏汽车已经发展出与传统车企不一样的全新的商业模式。那么我们的行业领先的智能化技术将不仅通过小鹏汽车品牌的销量变现，我们还可以跟全球最领先的品牌合作，获得更大的市场影响力和更好的财务回报。
Our strategic partnership with the Volkswagen Group is rapidly deepening and expanding. Within just 1 year of establishing our partnership, on April the 17th, we announced our third strategic cooperation project with Volkswagen. This project involves the joint development of industry-leading EE architecture for Volkswagen's EV platform designed for the Chinese market. This platform, which will be applied to China-produced Volkswagen branded EV models starting from 2026, will integrate Xpeng's latest generation of EE architecture based on centralized computing and domain controller technologies. We are confident in our ability to leverage more mutually beneficial cooperation opportunities with Volkswagen and create significant strategic synergies as we lead the global automobile industry's transition into the AI-powered driving era. Since the first quarter of 2024, our platform and software services have become a significant driver of our earnings. This clearly showcases Xpeng's innovative and unique business model, setting us apart from the traditional auto companies. Our cutting-edge smart technologies not only enhance monetization through Xpeng's branded EV sales, but also through partnership with a world-leading auto OEM. This will result in an expanded market presence and increased financial returns for our company.
我再次强调，在这么卷的市场里面，一定不要仅仅为了销量的规模，更重要的是要让多项全能。所以，尽管我们在2季度仍然面对车市的诸多挑战，但是小鹏包括组织在内的多项变革调整还在坚定持续的执行。但是我们已经看到了这些调整所带来的积极的影响。我们预期2024年第2季度的总交付数量约为29000至32000辆，同比上升25%至37.9%，那么环比上升32.9%到46.6%。那么收入预计约为人民币75到83亿元，同比上升48%到63%。那么我期待今年下半年大家会看到更多变革的成果落地，特别从今年4季度10月份开始，小鹏将会进入更高速度发展的一个快车道。我相信借此无论销量、利润率、现金流，还包括我们的自驾的能力，我都有信心获得巨大的突破，并且我的目标是在之后的时间更加稳定向前。
I would like to reiterate, in this ultra-competitive market, we should not only have our eyes on the scale of the sales, rather to focus on becoming a well-rounded player in the market. Despite the headwinds in the auto market in the second quarter, we have already observed a positive impact from our ongoing organizational and transformative changes. That said, we anticipate that the total delivery volume will range between 29,000 and 32,000 units in the second quarter of 2024, reflecting a year-over-year increase of 25% to 37.9%, and a quarter-over-quarter increase of 32.9% to 46.6%. Furthermore, we project that our second quarter total revenue will fall within the range of RMB 7.5 billion to RMB 8.3 billion, representing a year-over-year increase of 48.1% to 63.9%. We anticipate witnessing more transformation-driven results in the latter half of this year. Starting in October, we will be poised to enter a fast-track growth phase, confident in achieving significant breakthroughs in sales volume, margins, cash flow, and AI-powered ADAS system, and this is for the long run into the future as well.
那么谢谢大家，下面由我们的财务 VP James 为大家介绍我们在2024年第一季度的财务状况。
Thank you everyone again. With that, I will now turn the call over to our VP of Finance, Mr. James Wu, to discuss our financial performance for the first quarter of 2024.
Thank you, Xpeng. Now, let me provide a brief overview of our financial results for the first quarter of 2024. I'll reference RMB only in my discussion today, unless otherwise stated. Our total revenues were 6.55 billion for the first quarter of 2024, an increase of 62.3% year-over-year, and a decrease of 49.8% quarter-over-quarter. Revenues from vehicle sales were 5.54 billion for the first quarter of 2024, representing an increase of 57.8% year-over-year and a decrease of 54.7% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year increase was mainly attributable to higher deliveries, particularly the Model X9 in the first quarter of 2024. The quarter-over-quarter decrease was mainly attributable to lower deliveries of the G6 and the 2024 G9, compounded by seasonal impact, which is partially offset by contribution of the X9. Revenues from services and others were 1 billion for the first quarter of 2024, representing an increase of 93.1% year-over-year and an increase of 22.1% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter increases were primarily attributable to the increases of revenue from technical research and development service related to the platform and software strategic technical collaboration with the Volkswagen Group. Gross margin was 12.9% for the first quarter of 2024, compared with 1.7% for the same period of 2023 and 6.2% for the fourth quarter of 2023. Vehicle margin was 5.5% for the first quarter of 2024, compared with negative 2.5% for the same period of 2023 and 4.1% for the fourth quarter of 2023. The year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter increases were primarily attributable to the cost reduction and the improvement in product mix of models, partially offset by the inventory provision and losses on purchase commitments related to the Model P5, with a negative impact of 3.2 percentage points on vehicle margin for this quarter, as management lowered the P5 forecasted sales due to the expected stronger market demands for the upcoming new vehicle models. R&D expenses were 1.35 billion for the first quarter of 2024, representing an increase of 4.2% year-over-year and an increase of 3.3% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter increases were mainly in line with the timing and progress of new vehicle programs. SG&A expenses were 1.39 billion for the first quarter of 2024, which is flat on a year-over-year basis and a decrease of 28.3% quarter-over-quarter. The quarter-over-quarter decrease was mainly due to lower commissions to the franchise stores and lower marketing, promotional, and advertising expenses. Fair value gain on derivative liability relating to the contingent consideration was 0.18 billion for the first quarter of 2024, compared with 0.03 billion for the fourth quarter of 2023. This non-cash gain was resulted from the fair value change of the contingent consideration related to the acquisition of DiDi's smart auto business. As a result of the foregoing, loss from operations was 1.65 billion for the first quarter of 2024, compared with 2.59 billion for the same period of 2023 and 2.05 billion for the fourth quarter of 2023. Net loss was 1.37 billion for the first quarter of 2024, compared with 2.34 billion for the same period of 2023 and 1.35 billion for the fourth quarter of 2023. As of March 31st, 2024, our company had cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, short-term investments, and time deposits in total of 41.4 billion. To be mindful of the length of our earnings call, I would encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release for more details on our first quarter 2024 financial results. This concludes our prepared remarks. We'll now open the line to questions. Operator, please go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star two. For the benefit of participants on today's call, if you wish to ask a question to management in Chinese, please immediately repeat your question in English. For the sake of clarity and order, please ask one question at a time. Management will respond, and then feel free to follow up with your next question. Your first question comes from Tim Hsiao with Morgan Stanley.
谢谢管理层接受我的提问。我这边有两个提问。第一，首先恭喜贵司在这个大众合作的项目上面进一步的有所斩获。那也想请问一下，是不是能够针对一季度大众合作的这个平台软件技术收入的一个规模做一个量化？那另外在接下来几个季度的贡献是不是可以预期会逐季上升？那另外上个月公布的这个电子电器架构的这个协议的收入，是不是有机会在今年认列？这是我的第一个问题。So my first question is about the revenue contribution from the collaboration with Volkswagen. Could the management roughly quantify the contribution of the service revenue from Volkswagen in first quarters? And we know that is recurring, so will it continue climbing quarter over quarter in the following months? And is there any chance that the revenue from the new agreements related to the E architectures could also come through within the year? So that's my first question. Thank you.
Hi, Tim. This is Charles. So the platform software collaboration revenue from Volkswagen has been recorded in the service and other revenue in Q1. As you know, that it is recurring in nature. So I think that going forward, every quarter we will be able to book such platform and software technical services revenue. So in Q1, we booked multi-hundred million RMB platform and software services revenue. And I think we believe that in the subsequent quarters, such revenue will be more than what we booked in Q1. And so obviously, I think that given the nature of the platform and the software revenue, it is very high margin business for us. And we believe that with our vehicle sales business and also the platform and software technical services revenue, our company level GP margin can be sustainable at the low to mid-teens GP margin, percentage GP margin. And therefore, I think that we, as Xiaopeng pointed out, that we created a very unique business model in the auto industry. In addition to that, and we will continue to deliver our cost reductions through technology and also the supply chain, and to further improve our vehicle GP margin. To address your question regarding the revenue from the E architecture, and we expect that the revenue from the E architecture will start to be recognized from the second half this year. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you very much, Charles. 那我第二个问题是有关于这个自动驾驶这一块因为之前也看到，就是小本总这边可能有提到，就是会透过这个端到端大模型将自动辅助驾驶的这个智驾能力提升到今年3季度的时候，全国每一条路都可以开，那明年实现L4的一个智驾。 那在这个过程中，是不是也可以了解一下，是不是小鹏汽车需要相对应的增加一个比较大规模的增加研发人员的部署和资源的投放？那另外预计我们需要多少的时间这个小鹏才可以把这个技术领先转化成新车销售的一个增长，或达成一个技术的变现。So my second question is about autonomous driving, because we noticed that Xpeng aims to leverage end-to-end large model to upgrade Xgen GP by third quarter of this year to cover basically all roads in China, and would achieve a level 4 vehicle autonomy next year. So to achieve that target, should we expect Xpeng to meaningfully increase R&D spending during the period? And when do you think such a technological leadership can translate into upside to new car sales or potential monetization opportunity? That's my second question. Thank you.
首先纠正一个说法，就是明年我们期望能够达到整 L4 的能力，而不是达到 L4， 因为 L4 本身还需要硬件、需要政策法规的重复才行这是第一个。实际上整个的大模型实际上是会对现在所有的公司的强自动驾驶开发都会产生冲击，也就意味着原来在写规则的人员现在要做出转变，那么最终是由模型来去生成规则，所以在整体的人员上实际上并没有这个明显的增加反而是在我们有更多的人员可以来做全球化的相关的事情。我相信现在实际上它非常困难去判断大模型推出之后对于加速度的变化，也就是体验跟能力加速的变化。以前靠人来写程序的时候呢，比较容易清晰的判断，比如说我有更多的人，然后我有更长的时间，那么所以我就可以来做。但是模型的根据这个数据的能力，根据数据的规模，根据训练的能力，根据模型的能力的变化，我大概认为在2025年，我原先是认为在2025年的偏后段自动驾驶能力会形成一个极强的刚需。现在在大模型之后，有可能这个时间会提前，但明年这个2025年更早时间。谢谢。
Thank you very much for your question. And before I answer your question, there's one correction to make, and which is that we hope to achieve the ability of L4 next year. And however, we know that being able to actually implement that would also need to have the hardware as well as the rules and regulations to catch up. So that's point one. And point two, with respect to the large models, and we know that AI large models is going to have a huge impact on all the companies involved. And therefore, as we say, in the past, in terms of the rules and regulations people have, and those need to change. And the large models will actually generate these new rules. And thirdly, we don't actually need to increase our manpower at the moment, and we have about the same amount of people continue to work on globalization. In terms of how fast it's going to take or what the speed is going to be like, I would say that it's hard to say, it's hard to quantify. In the past, when we relied on human power, and one would be able to say how many people we would need, how much time we would need. However, with the large models, and it's about the scale, the algorithm, and the speed, etc. And my original thinking was that it's going to be the latter half of 2025. And now, with the fast development of technology and AI, and I think that it would be earlier than 2025, or possibly next year. So we'll wait and see.
Your next question comes from Ming Lee with Bank of America.
小鹏总以及各位管理层你们好。那我这边也是两个问题。那第一个问题呢是有关于这个就是之后的一些车型的一些有没有更详细的一些说明。那主要的话第三季的这个Mona Project 它的就是 To B 车跟 To C 车它的这个节奏大概会是怎样？然后 然后接着的话，能不能也讲一下，就是说，因为明年之前有提到说，应该每一季都有至少一款新车，那可不可以请管理层大概给我们量化一下，说，比如说有多少款车是小鹏牌，然后多少的车是这个Mona 牌？对，那我先翻译一下我的问题。So my first question is related to more details of your new product pipeline. So in the second half, you will have two products. The first product is related to Mona project. So could you give more details regarding the launch timing for the 2B version and also the 2C version? And for the next year, the product pipeline, could you also give some guidance regarding the numbers of your Mona brand product and also your Xpeng brand product? 谢谢。
首先我想说明呢，这个我们所有的车型，我们的主力的客户全部是 2C 的，我们不会考虑在 2B 领域有大范围的车型包括 Mona， 包括所有的这个是，所以Mona 在一开始设计的时候就是以最高颜值去设计的，所以在高颜值的情况下，我们也不认为它在 2B 的市场是有一个巨大的可以有一个渗透力。那么从今年3季度之后，我们在不同的季度会有不同的这样一些车，有的季度会比较多的车，也有的季度可能是只有一些改款车的组合。那么同时我们从2024年3季度到2026年，我们会持续有这个相关的这个车型。那么关于这个具体的这个产品的规划图谱，我们在这里就不方便去跟大众来分享。但今年的这2款我们已经刚刚在这个财报里面得到了分享。先帮我翻译第一段，谢谢。
Thank you for your question. And first of all, in terms of all our car models and the mainstream offer that we bring to the market would still be for the 2C market, and the 2B market is not really our focus, including Mona. And for Mona, this brand, and as we say, because that what we are looking at is to building this to the most beautiful and aesthetic cars out there in the market. Therefore, we do not really see this having too much of a big penetration rate into the 2B market. And secondly, starting from Q3 this year, following onwards, and in each different quarters, we will have different car models being launched in the market. And some quarters, perhaps there will be a few more different models, and in certain quarters, perhaps this will be simply an updated version of an existing model or a mixed version model, so to speak. And starting from 2024 to 2026, we will continue to roll out different car models into the market. And in terms of the specifics, I don't think that I'm in a position to release further details to the market at the moment. And our plans, you have already heard in my previous presentation.
那么这个 Mona 会是小鹏的一个系列，我们在下个月会来跟这个市场会来分享我们在 Mona 上的一些思考。在今天还是重复一下刚刚所说的 ，Mona 有非常好的颜值，而且我们期望有不错的这个利润，而且我们期望在 Mona 里面有不同等级，包括最高等级的这个智能驾驶，那么把这个智驾从当前的20万以上为主价格段打到这个20万以内这是我们在 Mona 的一些思考。谢谢。
So the second part of my answer to your question, and for the Mona series, and actually going forward, and next month we will have more to share with the market in terms of our thinkings about this series. And as I said before, for Mona series, we are looking at building a car that is the most beautiful and the most aesthetic on the external. And in addition, we also hope that this is a car that will bring the company good amount of profits, and it will also cover various grades of intelligent or autonomous driving. And we hope that in the past for autonomous driving, it was mainly for the cars in the price range of above 200,000. And with Mona series, we hope to bring the autonomous driving into the car with a price range of within 200,000.
好。于这个海外市场，因为上周其实小鹏品牌也正式进军香港，那我知道也最近也就进入到很多不同的国家。那可不可以请小鹏总还有 Brian 这边可以多分享一下，就是我们今年的这个海外的这个布局哦，那包括就是说原先指引的就是应该是几万台的一个销量，然后包括我们现在进军这个海外市场的这个速度跟进度是跟我们原先预期的符合，还是说有机会再超前一些？然后另外在海外的话，刚刚小鹏总也提到，就是说这个高速的这个NGP 的这个测试是很顺利哦。那在这个部分的话，比如说 R&D 的投入会是一个比较高的金额吗？还是说其实我们带的就是从中国这边的一些技术出海的话，其实这个它的这个复制能力都是比较容易的。谢谢。那我也翻译一下我的第二个问题啊。So last week, Xpeng brand officially entered the Hong Kong market, and also in the next few months, Xpeng will enter more and more countries, especially South Asia. So right now, based on your product launch in overseas market and also the progress of your entering a new market, right now, are you ahead of your original target, which you mentioned that the total volumes will be a few times more than 10,000 units? And will you incur more R&D expense because you will also provide XNGP functions in overseas market?
Hey Ming, it's Brian. Let me address your question. First of all, regarding our overseas plan, I would say this year we are, as you can see, accelerating our pace of international development. We are targeting to roll out to more than 20 countries with our industry-leading technology advanced EVs. The exact number of markets obviously also correlates to the type of models that we're going to make available to these markets. For example, right now in Europe, we are already selling the G9 and P7. We are launching the left-hand driving G6 this month. We'll hopefully deliver very soon. In other markets, for example, in Southeast Asia, and you point out Hong Kong, we're launching the right-hand driving G6, I would say probably in a couple months, and also will probably be followed with the right-hand driving X9 to be delivered probably by the end of this year or early next year. So as you can see that the whole international expansion is on track. We think the original guidance we gave in terms of number, in terms of tens of thousands, as well as this quarter we would like to achieve more than 10% of our overall delivery number is still valid. So those are the right guidances we want to give on the international expansion. And regarding the technical XNGP related smart driving technology, we are actively now testing a number of overseas markets, currently also working with regulatory bodies to make sure that this complies with and also developing regulations in these markets. The development is actually not going to make material increase in our overall R&D. First of all, I think we are still very targeted in the number of markets that we want to bring the subsets of our XNGP capabilities. But again, also just echo what Xiaopeng just mentioned, our capability of development also has been increasing now with the help of AI and large model capabilities, and also removing the need for the map, as well as using the large language model to accelerate the development in different scenarios, also will benefit our development overseas. So in all, I think we will look forward to seeing some of these capabilities being made available by later this year, as well as probably early next year in some of the overseas markets. And also at the same time, we don't see material increases of R&D expense because of that effort.
Thank you, Brian.
Your next question comes from Bin Wang with Deutsche Bank.
谢谢各位领导我有2个问题。第一个呢，想请您能不能描述一下我们4季度的一个场景因为刚才领导说到的4季度的销量会跟去年有一个很高的成长，去年我们4季度单月应该都在2万台，能否假设就是我们在今年4季度这个很高的成长能达到3万台呢？如果是3万台的话呢，我们怎么在现有产品以及这个 Mona 还有那个 F57这个大型轿车中间一个分配同时呢，在这么好的销量的时候，我们的毛利率应该怎么看？因为到那时候呢，我们也有3个正面因素，比如说我们的大量的降本，出口更高的毛利，还有更多的大众这个 EEA 的贡献，我们毛利能够否达到 15%？ 这是我的第一个问题。My first question is about the number 4 quarter this year. You're actually very confident about the number 4 quarter this year. If you just say that the volume will have a very high growth, if we will assume there will be say 50% growth, and last year in number 4 quarter monthly volume will be 20K. So if you do 30K, what's the breakdown between the existing products and upcoming Mona and the F57 large size sedan? Meanwhile, can you comment about the margin, because we see 3 parts for the margin. Number 1 is the cost reduction, second is the export generally have a higher margin, and third one additional EEA income from Volkswagen. So is that gross margin close to 15%? Thank you.
Hey Bing, it's Brian. Let me just respond. First of all, in the fourth quarter of this year, you will see that our Mona product will be in full delivery, and also we'll be launching the delivery of our the B segment sedan. So those 2 products will contribute very meaningfully into the monthly delivery in the fourth quarter, but at different stages, as you can tell, because the starting of the delivery is different. So we are very excited about the prospect of both products in terms of generating significant volume. I would say assuming both models are in full delivery months, I think the monthly numbers we anticipate significantly increase over last year's comparable monthly delivery number is achievable. That's what we believe. Again, I'm not going to give you the exact number as well as breakdown, but that's how we envision the delivery number growth. But also what I want to emphasize is that, as you just heard, that these 2 products is only the beginning of our super product cycle that will last probably for the next 18 to 24 months. And also because the early next year, and we will also have additional products as well as updated models to be launched in the subsequent quarters. We want to make sure that the growth profile maintains stable as well as under control. So we actually want to make sure the additional volume that we want to achieve on a monthly basis is growing in a more stable and sequential manner rather than episodical, big bursts like some other model launches you've seen. So I think that's kind of probably lasts until the remaining of next year, given the other models will later hopefully will give you a prelude in the next few quarters of earnings. In terms of margin, I would like to comment. First of all, I would say the Mona model, even though it's an A-class sort of sedan, we are still anticipating healthy positive margin contribution from this model, and also in healthy quantities. For the B segment sedan, we think it's going to be higher margin than probably our current models, except the X9. So both will contribute, I would say, materially to the product profit mix, gross profit mix. And also, as Charles mentioned, the contribution from Volkswagen will continue become a steady recurring income. At the same time, we anticipate additional contribution from EEA collaboration. So with all these contribution as well as our sort of view currently on the potential gross profit margin for the new products, we are maintaining healthy low to mid-teen margin gross profit for our overall business by the end of this year.
OK， 第二个问题呢，想问问看呢，很多我们的对手啊都推出了增程车型呢，导致销量也比较高的增长。我们小鹏有没有考虑过在未来一段时间也推出增程版啊 ？And the second question is that we do see our peers actually launch the EIV version and want to have a big increase. What's our plan for our powertrain? Will you also launch the EIV version for the products? Thank you.
我们一般不愿意回答对未来的这个明确的这个产品的规划，因为这是处于一个规划的体系啊。我觉得在今天可以答的就是说，我们在飞行汽车领域里面，我们会用增程的解决方案来去解决在飞行汽车里面，汽车是增程的，但是在飞行我们是纯电的啊，这是可以非常明确的。这个在更多在后面，如果我们在增程上有相关的这个产品计划，我到时候再来跟您分享。谢谢。
谢谢。
Thank you for your question. And generally speaking, we would not be very willing to disclose any information in relation to our product designs because it is simply still in the planning stage. And going forward, this is something that we would be looking at being implemented in our flying cars. And in terms of the BEV, and I can say that so for the flying part and the auto part, it will be BEV, and for the further details, it is better that we wait until the product actually becomes more concrete when we have more detailed plans and more ready to share with the market. Thank you.
我想补充2个我们对增程的看法。我觉得第一个就是混动实际上对于客户是有真实的需求的啊，这个是。那么现在有非常多的这个车主在过去的1年多，我相信在未来还有1年多时间，这个混动技术包括增程是一个巨大使用需求的一个场景。但是我们也调研了很多用户，他们在接受了混动之后，他们发现原来我1年才用加几次油，但是平常是经常要充电，所以他们开始更多的接受纯电的产品。所以我们今年会加速在超快充甚至 S5 超快充的建设。最近我们建设非常的快，要加快这种用户的补能的体验。我相信很多的混动车主，他们在下一款车都很大概率会意愿换成纯电，这是我们看到的第一个需求啊，请帮我翻译，谢谢。
So please allow me just to supplement a few points. And my first point is that, yes, indeed, in the past 1 year and in the next year to come, we will see that there is quite a lot of demand coming from the market, from the consumers for PHEVs. However, you will see that a lot of these consumers, they will realize that despite having a PHEV and out of a year, in terms of the times that they actually go to the petrol station and to get it filled up, it's very little, only just a few times. And by having this experience, more and more consumers actually have more confidence in BEVs and in pure electric vehicles, so to speak. And at the moment, we are also working hard on the construction and the building of our Ultra X5 series of products. And I do believe that for consumers having experienced PHEVs and for the next car model, and it is very likely that they will go for BEVs.
那么第2个部分呢，就是这个实际上从技术角度啊，从增程到纯电的跨越难度要远高过从纯电到增程。那么但是我们相信当前这一代的增程实际上已经看到了很多挑战，例如在全球化上碰到了很多挑战。中国的汽车是以在城市里面开为主，部分海外的国家是城市跟高速都占相当的比例。那么在高速增程的当前的体验是有非常多的问题。 那么所以换一个角度，对小鹏来说，在增程领域下一代增程是什么样的，这是我们更多的思考啊。所以在更后面希望再跟大家分享我们对于这些的看法。谢谢。
In addition, in terms of the technology and the movement from these cars and into BEVs, actually it's quite a jump into in terms of the technology. And you can also see if we look at it globally, and for instance, in certain countries in Asia versus certain countries in Europe or in elsewhere, and sometimes certain cars could only run on a certain path or certain roads, etc. And we do think that it is not as simple, it is not as straightforward as what we hear from the market. And we do think that we would need to be very cautious, and we need to maintain very vigilant. And for XP, obviously, we will also continue to watch the space very carefully.
Your next question comes from Paul Gong with UBS.
谢谢接受我的提问就两个问题第一个问题是关于这个端到端大模型的现在业界的有一些反馈的话就是说如果太激进的尽快的用端到端会有不确定的因素就因为它不一定所出来的一个那结果它做出那么一个决策的话你不一定能够准确的一个把握而且也有反馈说模型开始变大了过后它的更新会变慢不知道就是说小鹏这一边是什么样的思考So my first question is regarding the end-to-end big model. There has been some feedback in the industry saying that it involves uncertainty in terms of the decision making and also it makes it more difficult to figure out why the decision was made in that way and also the feedback is when the model becomes larger it kind of slows down in terms of upgrading so how does Xpeng think about this issue? This is my first question.
对我们在最开始做端到端模型的时候某种角度跟您想法一致我们都有这个非常大的 worry 但是随着技术的前进我们看到了端到端模型的巨大的这个价值我们都知道这个所有的大模型上都有不确定因素但最重要你怎么去构建你的控制器就像你的刹车系统你的黑盒的安全系统那么在这个上面我觉得比较好的是这个小鹏汽车在过去的自动驾驶里面我们这个做了大量的跟安全控制和安全博弈相关的事情那么这里面有非常多的事情可以在这个里面我们继续在端到端的部分的这个地方我们增加能力的控制这是第一个第二我们要建立一个巨大的仿真的一个整个的测试系统要能够在仿真里面去做更多的这个在这个里面去花了非常大的力气正在去做的这个事情好先帮我翻译这一段谢谢
Thank you very much for your question. Yes, indeed. In the very beginning, we did worry about it. And however, with the advancement of the technology, we can now see the huge value that end-to-end large models can bring. And of course, with the technologies, there are always uncertainties. And what we need to do is to make sure that we are able to keep an eye and ensuring the safety of the black box, of the control of the vehicle, etc., and as well as the end-to-end capability. And secondly, we are also building a large size analog model and to help us to carry out the various pilots and the trials.
关于第二个问题我不是很特别能理解这个我可以来尝试来说一下就是说实际上在自动驾驶的大模型和大语言大模型不完全一致我们实际上你可以认为在 transformer 的基础上去了解整个大模型的逻辑要自己来书写而不是用某一个开源大模型 OK 那么 当你自己拥有使用大模型的能力的时候，实际上你不需要如此大的数据的变革。就是说，比如说，业界所说的什么30个 B 或者更大的 B 的这样一个模型，在合适的模型里面，足够多的数据在预训练，那么将来我们也期望加入后训练的能力，去使整个在适合的模型里面取得最大的价值。实际上，它已经比人来书写自动驾驶的程序能力有巨大的提高，我觉得。谢谢。好，这是我的回复。
With respect to your second question, I am not entirely sure if I have understood what you are trying to get, but I'll try my best to answer. And I would say that from an autonomous driving model versus a large language model, these two are actually different. And looking at it from transformers, and this is not open source, and if we do have our own model, actually we will not need to use such amount of data as what the industry requires or sets to be, and for instance, 30B or whatever, and we would be able, once identifying the appropriate model, and we would be able to work on that basis and to move forward. Thank you.
好的，我的第二个问题是关于渠道的。就现有的一个渠道的话，往往是在一个比较好的一个内地点，但是面积相对是比较小的。随着就小鹏汽车连同蒙纳越来越多的一个车款的话，就我们是否看到一个需要，就是说需要扩张店面的一个面积，甚至就以牺牲这个地点作为一个代价。So my second question is regarding the distribution channel. So far I can see that the stores are mostly in some prime location, but with relatively limited area. As Xpeng gradually launch more new models and expand the portfolio, including Mona, do you see the need to expand the average size of the stores or the area of the stores, even at the cost of, say, shifting out from the most prime location?
我们一直在做渠道上的优化，我们比如说包括了我们现在在做渠道下沉，目前我们在覆盖更多低线城市的这个渠道，在过去的时间，小鹏主要在高线城市这个中高线城市里面。第二个就是刚才所讲的，就是我们一定会增加在 4S 综合店的比例提高，那么 4S 店里面能够对于服务跟多车型有更好的支持。那么第三呢，我们在这个新开的在墨里面店，我们还是不会用很大的这个面积，我们会用适度的面积。实际上在墨里面不需要把所有车摆进去，就可以达到非常好的引流跟转换。先帮我翻译，谢谢。
Thank you for your question. And first of all, we have always continued to optimize our channels. And for instance, we are looking at going into the lower tier cities and to try and cover as many lower tier cities as possible. In the past, we have mainly focused on the high end and the mid end tier cities. And secondly, we do believe that for as stores, these comprehensive stores would be able to provide better support of services. And thirdly, even with the new stores that we open up in the malls, and again, we are not going to open them up with a huge area of floor area, and because we do believe that even with an appropriate amount of space available for these stores in the mall, and the conversion rate of successful order is actually very high.
那么，我们在去年的4季度进行了渠道优化，那即在今年的1、2季度正在恢复，而且恢复速度还是不错的。同时，我们在今年3季度，我们的销售门店数量，我们预计会增加到600家，为更大的范围放量做好准备。好，谢谢。
And in addition, in terms of our plans for store openings in Q4 last year, and we can see that it has been well recovered in Q1 and Q2 this year, and we predict that by Q3 this year we will have about 600 stores.
Thank you very much. That's quite helpful. 非常感谢，很有帮助。
Your next question comes from Tina Hao with Goldman Sachs.
感谢管理层的时间。对，我这边有2个问题，第一个是我们的这个 Mona brand，在 To C 端的话，咱们看到就是这个市场可能就是竞品模型会有哪些，然后我们可能颜值高是一方面，还有其他方面就是去跟就是这些竞品去竞争的。然后就是可能这个有没有做过这个价格段消费者的调研，他们对智能化的一个需求是不是相对来讲会比这个20万以上的这一部分消费者会稍微低一点？然后还有就是 Mona 这边咱们还有任何 To B 端的一个销量的预期吗？这是第一个问题。Let me just translate. So in terms of our Mona brand, so for the 2C customers, what are some of the competing models in the market? And then also for this customers with this price segment, they might have less demand in terms of the smart functions and higher demand for like the pricing. So aside from I think the vehicle design, what are some of our key competitive advantages in this segment? Also, do we have any sales volume target for the 2B part of Mona distribution? Thank you.
对，这个问题实际上是该我们 Vola 的发布会来去描述的啊。这个，我觉得 Vola 我们可以看到这个，购车用户实际上需要高颜值，满足他客户需求的车。那么，如果它比其他的车的价格会低，我们在以前有一个叫$1万的模型，每低$1万，大概整个车的销量会提高1到2倍，实际上是啊。这个在20万以上的时候，我们都看到了这样一个趋势，这是原来新造车势力竞争的一个最主要的标准。如果我们能够在这个上面下降一些额度，那具体的额度等我们发布会再告诉大家。这个我们相信它的规模的需求是非常之大的，会是现在的2到4倍的规模，我认为最起码。那么，但是在过去的情况下，为什么在10到20万之间的车没有人做出又漂亮、空间又不错、又有智能？是因为它做不到啊！我觉得这个在小鹏的这个里面，跟我们的合作伙伴一起在研发的这个4年有这么大的研发投入情况下，我觉得到现在我们总算可以开始准备了。我觉得这是我们的一个整体思考。所以换个角度，您的问题在 To C 的领域里面，我们看到一些当前有一些友商的车，它卖的非常多的，一个月2万台到5万台之间。但是我们觉得实际上我们跟它还是有一个非常大的定位的一个差异，让它满足了非常多对于美、对于科技的需求的用户的需求，在过去是没有。谢谢，帮我先翻译的。
Thank you very much for your question. And actually, this question is better asked in our Mona products launch event. Anyway, I'll make a few comments. And first of all, for this Mona product, as introduced and presented earlier, and this is a product with very high beauty as well as external aesthetics. And in addition, it also comes with a cheaper price, and we actually have a model, and which is what we call the $10,000 rule, and which means that every time the price goes down by $10,000, and you will see that the sales of that product will actually go up by 1 time or actually go up by 2 times. And this model has been validated in our old experience with our other vehicles of a price range above 200,000. And now, if we would be able to implement this and to give a bit of a price discount for Mona series, and in terms of the specific price reduction, we will talk about that in our Mona product launch. And I believe the scale that we are looking at is actually huge, and I would say it's about 2 to 4 times of the present level. In the past, for 100 to 200,000 price range, nobody was able to provide the consumers with a car that is not only beautiful, has a good space, but also a smart car with very good technology. After 4 years of hard work and R&D and so much investment into this, finally XP has been able to come up with a product, Mona, that is able to meet all the above demands. In other words, if you look at our competitors at the moment, yes, some of them say that they can sell 20 to 50,000 units of cars per month. And however, I can assure you that for our Mona product, and you would see a huge difference between our car versus the competitors' cars, because not only that we are able to provide the beauty, to provide the space, but also to provide this range of a price with a good technology and a good smart driving functionalities that it was this need that was not able to be met in the past.
那么关于智能化的需求，这个我们也讨论了很久，也思考了很久啊。我觉得2个吧。我觉得第一个，我们会给出不同的智能化分层的这个版本，去满足刚刚所说的有一部分的用户可能不太需要强的智能化。但是我用一个以前我在移动互联网创业的案例分享一下，就是说移动手机在语音的高端用户，往往不是数据流量的高端用户，反之打电话比较少的用户反而是数据流量的高端用户。所以从我们的部分的数据，我认为实际上在10到20万这个级别的用户，更多人需要高等级智能驾驶，只是他觉得太贵了。一旦当他获得这一个高科技的产品，但他又买得起，支付了价格，会是巨大的吸引力。我认为在这个事情上，在明年2025年，大家会看到这个数据的这个变化。谢谢。
So to answer your second question, and with respect to smart driving or autonomous driving, and I would say that it is likely, yes, some of these consumers, they may not need very highly advanced functions, and we will possibly be looking at a strategy that is stratifying and giving out different levels of ADAS to the consumers. And I would actually like to quote the internet thinking that when I was establishing my business, and something that was quite popular in the industry back in those days. And what it says is that for the mobile phone users, actually, they are not the high-end generators of data. It is rather that the people who are making fewer phone calls are the high-end data generators. So to adopt that analogy or that thinking, and if we look at the 100 to 200,000 RMB price range, and this is actually the group of consumers that would need more of the autonomous driving functions. It's simply that in the past, this was out of their price range and they were not able to afford this. Once they are able to afford this, they would be all over the autonomous driving cars in this price range. And I do believe that next year in 2025, we will see this coming into a reality.
So Tina, also this is Brian. Let me just comment on your question on the 2B segment. What we see in this price segment of product, the successful C2C product will also will be used quite prevalently in 2B channels as well. So I think a success of this product, even though not targeted at the 2B segment, but still will have significant use cases applied to 2B mobility use. And also with our partnership and collaboration with Didi, I think that multi-purpose sort of use case will be very, very prevalent in our user base for Mona.
谢谢。我想 follow up 一下，就是 to B 这块，那我们还是应该就是去预期这个头13个月10万的销量，然后接下来的12个月10万的销量，这是一个合理的一个预期吗？So just to quickly follow up, so for the 2B part, should we still expect 100,000 units in the first 13 months and then 100,000 units in the next 12 months? Is this still a reasonable expectation? Thank you.
The agreement we have with DiDi is still valid. We still provide such an incentive for MONA to be used in DiDi system. If they achieve those in volume, I think the incentive will still be valid. Yes.
So this is mainly so it's up to DiDi how many they want to purchase.
No, I think if you read our agreement, which is made public available, it is actually an agreement that if the MONA product is used in the DiDi system, in the mobility ecosystem, they could, up to a certain number, they will receive additional incentive. It does not relate to their own purchases.
Okay, thank you. 然后那个第二个问题是关于咱们的这个软件服务收入这一块，因为确实看到这个从这一季开始计入收入，然后也有很高的利润率，给咱们公司可能整体的一个盈利性都带来了很好的推动。然后因为咱们跟大众的这个协议其实也不是排他性的，所以想问一下咱们现在有没有去这个主动积极的去探索跟其他一些就是合作伙伴类似的一个这么样的一个模式。So my second question is in terms of the software services revenue. So we see started recognition and has been very helpful in terms of our overall margin and profitability. So because our agreement with Volkswagen is not exclusive, are we actually actively exploring similar collaboration with other partners?
Hey Tina, I think that our strategic collaboration with Volkswagen actually create a very strong value, strategic value to each other. For example, we are collaborating on the technology, and also we are collaborating on supply chain, and also during the process, we also identified the opportunity to work more closely going forward in other areas. We believe there are a lot of things we can do as a strategic partner to each other. However, I think that from the collaboration perspective, our collaboration with Volkswagen were not exclusive to each other. So therefore, I think that we are also open-minded to looking for the strategic collaboration opportunity with other players. However, I think that what we value most is that we see how we can bring value to a partnership and create value to each other, not just a supplier-related relationship.
That does conclude our question and answer session. I'd like to turn the call back over to the company for closing remarks.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact Xpeng's Investor Relations through the contact information provided on our website or the Pearson Financial Communications.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.